So, I want to talk about leadership today. I'm going to start with Ezekiel 22, verse 30. God at that time said, I searched for a man among them who would build up the wall and stand in the gap before me for the land so that I would not destroy it, but I found no one. Almost he's looking like someone that would stand up and be a moral and spiritual leader in the land and provide leadership and bring kind of righteousness and godliness back in. And Ezekiel said, we didn't find anyone willing to do that. Long ago, God said concerning Abraham, the reason he had chosen Abraham was in the book of Genesis chapter 18 and in verse 19. I have chosen him so that he may command his children and his household after him to keep the way of the Lord. Joshua would echo that sentiment in Joshua chapter 24 and in verse 15 when he says, as far as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. In the New Testament, we have a statement in the book of Ephesians chapter 6 and in verse 4, where among other things, fathers are specifically told, do not provoke your children to wrath or anger, but bring them up in the discipline and admonition of the Lord. Obviously, the mom is involved in that parenting process, but dad is there making sure that it gets done. Dad is to exercise his leadership. Sometimes people don't want to be leaders, and sometimes men don't want to be leaders. And I want to talk about that for a little bit. Some people don't want to be in the public eye. They have this ideal that if you're a leader, you're going to be, kind of scrutinized. You're going to be picked on, and leaders fail, and everyone sees the fault of the leader, and leaders have to deal with a lot of drama. Leaders have to deal with a lot of criticism, and I want to avoid the spotlight, etc., and I just want to be over here minding my own business. All right. For men, that's not good for you. Just want to let you know. You're not going to develop into the man that you need to be if you have the attitude, I don't want any responsibility, and let somebody else do it. You're not going to be respected either in the long run. And the older you get, the more you're going to regret that particular decision. Book of Proverbs chapter 9, verse 8. Do not reprove a scoffer, he will hate you. Reprove a wise man, and he will love you. Give instruction to a wise man, and he will be still wiser. Teach a righteous man, and he will increase his learning. You need to be able to take constructive criticism. And you need to be able to take constructive criticism for the rest of your life. That's how you grow. That's how you develop, learn, and mature. That's how you gain wisdom. You gain talents and skills that way. You grow. You grow. You should want to grow. You should want to learn more. I remember one of the first jobs I had when I was 15 years old, I was constantly criticized in front of the public in a grocery store for about the first 2 weeks. I hated that job. I hated the person training me. About 2 weeks later, I loved the job. I loved the person training me. But you have to be willing to take criticism, constructive criticism. That's the way you grow as an individual. That's going to make your life interesting. When you take on a leadership position and it comes with responsibility, and I know it's going to come with criticism, there's a lot of people that are going to remain all their life nothing more than a backseat driver. But those are not the people that history remembers. Those are not the people really that a lot of other people remember. Those are not the people that are respected. And typically those are not the men that women are flocking to marry. Okay, I just want to let you know on that one. Be willing to get in the spotlight, take the criticism, take the heat. You'll become a stronger person for it. You need it. You need it to develop certain things about you that only leadership can offer and bring. I mean, if you were going to read a book, if you were going to watch a movie, you would have no interest in watching a movie about someone who did nothing. Yeah, we're just going to watch this movie about someone who sat in the shadows, never wanted to take any responsibility. Yeah, they make movies about people like that all the time, right? No, we never make movies about people like that. We don't write books about people like that. Okay? Those are not the individuals that are admired, respected, and remembered. Leadership will help you develop courage. 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 2. Preach the word, be urgent in season and out of season. In 2 Chronicles 26, about 18 and 19, when King Uzziah wanted to go into the house of the Lord and burn incense on the altar of incense, which was not authorized for him to do as a king, Azariah and a bunch of other priests went in there and opposed him. And the text says they were valiant men. They were courageous men. They were exercising leadership. You're needed. You're needed now. If you're a man, there's a woman out there that needs you. There's a family that's going to need you. Your neighborhood's going to need you. There's a job that's going to need you. This country is going to need you, and the kingdom of God is going to need you. You might say, but leadership isn't cool. You know, you might run in a circle where being a leader and taking responsibility is not cool. That the cool person is the slacker. The cool person is the person who's very quiet. I don't want to mess with anybody's business. Leave me alone. Let me stay at home and watch video games or whatever it is. That's the cool person who is just like aloof and uninvolved. Well, to whom? And don't believe that. Do not believe that. Even among people that are very hipster, even among people that are progressive and liberal in their various point of views, leadership is still admired. And not only that, but I want to tell you something, give an insight to you men out there. I know there's a number of women out there in the world that are, very liberal-minded or whatever, and they claim they don't need a man and that type of thing. Okay, but those women do not admire and end up resenting men who don't speak up. And so if you think that you're just going to go out there and find a woman who, I'm going to find me a woman and I'm just going to find one of those women that's not going to expect much of a man, and she's going to make all the decisions or whatever, and she's just going to allow me to kind of, pill around with my hobbies and whatever, and she's going to end up resenting you after a while. Even women that would claim that they're not into male leadership, even women that would claim that they're not into God, still want men that are courageous, still want a man that will protect them, still want a man that will speak up, and still want a man that will exercise his leadership when it comes to hard decisions and things like parenting. No one respects a silent man who will not assume responsibility. Just a heads up on that, you guys. Just a heads up on that. If there's a woman out there that claims like, it's fine with me if you don't ever really, lead. It's fine with me if you don't ever really speak up. It's fine with me if you just kind of stay a wallflower all your life. Usually women that initially say that end up resenting being with that type of man. Everyone looks to a man to lead. And most people want men who are leaders. Children want fathers who are leaders, and wives, smart, intelligent wives, want men who are leaders. If you're dating a woman and she doesn't want you to lead, okay, it's almost like, would you date a woman who would be unwilling to take advice, right? Like, would you be willing to date a man that doesn't ever find his voice? I just want to remain quiet and people leave me alone. No, you don't want that. People don't respect that. Which life do you want? At the end of the day, which life do you really want? You can remain a wallflower all your life. I'm not going to speak up. Not really going to do anything. Not going to exercise leadership. Pick somebody else. Don't ask me to volunteer. Don't ask me to get involved, etc. I got my little life. I got my little hobbies, etc. Leave me alone. Is that the life you want? Okay. Typically, no one remembers someone like that. That person has zero impact upon this world. That's a pretty uneventful, boring existence. Or do you want a life that makes a difference? Abraham made a difference. Joshua made a difference. The men in the Bible and the men in history and the men that have made a difference in this world are men that are courageous, men that lead, men that have found their voice, men that speak out about what is right and true, men that step forward and stand in the gap. Until next time, my name is Mark, and we'll catch you later.